go back to the cost. Less debt X. Magkano po debt X natin? Ito po, minus. And you will get your carrying value. Okay? May question pa ba? Actually guys, magtanong kayo. Nagmamadali ako, oo, pero you can ask anytime. If you have questions po sa computation. Alam ko, isa sa pinaka nakakalito yung list kasi isa to sa mga topic na may pinaka malaking demand. Okay? Okay? Medyo demanding po ang list, no? Ang daming hinihingi. Okay, now. Wala naman, no? If you have questions, tanong lang kayo. Next. On January 1, Clockwork Corporation enters into a 4-year lease agreement. Ito na po, may inflation. Okay. Lease na may inflation. On January 1, 2020, Clockwork enters into a 4-year lease of property with an annual lease payment of 100,000. Payable at the end of each year. The contract states that the lease payment will increase after 2 years based on the increase in the consumer price index in the preceding 2 years. The implicit rate in the lease is not readily determined. Clockwork's incremental borrowing rate is 12%. Okay, meron tayong interest rate. And Clockwork uses the straight line method in depreciation. Okay, paano i-compute kapag may price index? So ganito po yan. First, let's start with the concept of the present value factors. So this is problem number 4. Anong gagamitin natin? PV of 1, PV of OA. Ang sagot, you cannot use the PV of 1 or PV of OA. Bakit? Because the payment is not ordinary. Okay, the payment will not be ordinary. Fixed annual payment. Bakit, sir? Because there is a change in the lease payment due to the price index. So, paano yung kino-compute? Here. The present value will be 1 by 1. Kasi hindi siya ordinary. So, paano yan, sir? So, that's 1 divided by 1.12. Ulit, divided by 1.12. Ulit, divided by 1.12. Ganun siya. Every year. Okay? And kapag tinotal nyo kasi to, tingnan nyo ha, 1, 2, 3, 4 minus 1 divided by 0.12, pareho lang po. Okay, pareho lang po pag inad nyo lahat. No? Pag inad nyo tong apat, this will be your present value of ordinary annuity. And ordinary annuity, diba shortcut, minus 1 divided by 0.12. Pareho lang po. Now, going back, yung payment natin is 100,000 pesos. 100,000 pesos. Tama ba? 100,000. 100,000. However, there is a price index. So the price index will be multiplied by 150 divided by 125. Current index. So this will be the new index over current index. Ganun po. Okay? So, magiging 120,000. Ganun po ang treatment. Okay? If there is a change in the price index. Total po natin, or present value, the PV factor pala. And this will be your lease liability. Is there a bargain purchase option in the problem provided? Parang wala. So okay lang. No? Yeah, wala naman. No? Now, initial measurement of the lease liability and right of use asset. So, dahil wala po tayong initial direct cost, pareho lang po sila. Okay? What is the balance as of December 31, 2020? So first, let's go to the lease liability. Balance. No? So your balance will be ito, interest, payment, amortization. So magkano po yung ating interest? Now the payment, kailan pala yung payment? End of each year. So that is 100,000, 100,000, 150,000. Interest po, paano yan? This is going to be 8%, no? 8%, sabi ng problem. Minus. Hindi na kinakaya ng aking computer. Okay? Ulit. Okay, ang tanong kasi is December 31, 2020, no? So this is December 31. This is February 1. December 31, 20. So here's your balance. The right of use asset naman po, okay? Cost divide by. So is there a transfer of owner? And actually, wala namang sinabing. No? Hindi, yeah. Is there a transfer of ownership? Actually, hindi rin sila nagbigay ng useful life ng property. No? Yeah, in this problem, wala naman po. So divide mo lang ng 4. Right? So there is a change in the price index. Ito po yung treatment natin. Next item. Knights Corporation entered into a lease of a building on January 1, 2020 with the following information. So, sino ba tayo? So, ito, 300,000, lease term, 5 years, useful life, 20, implicit rate, 9. The lease contained an option for the lessee to extend the lease for a further 5 years at the consummate date. The exercise of the extension option is not reasonably certain because the entity believes that there is no economic incentive to do so. After 3 years, however, on January 1, the lessee decided to extend the lease for a further 5 years. New annual rental payable at the end of the year will be at 400,000, while the new implicit rate will be following the 12%. Now, this is what you call a change in the lease term. Okay? Change in the lease term. And how are you going to account for the change in the lease term? Marami po. No? Maraming gagawin. So, wait lang tayo. Teka. Wait lang, tubig lang ako. Okay, now going back. This is what you call an extension of the lease term. Okay? The extension of the lease term or lease modification has many implications. Una, kailangan natin ng tabular formula. So, pwede lagay. Dito na lang, no? Lease. So, ang lease modification po, una, itanong natin, is it accounted for as a separate lease? Or is it accounted for or not accounted for separate? Next, tatanungin natin, is there an increase in scope? Or is there an increase in consideration? And dito, dalawa rin. Actually, mas maganda sana kung whiteboard ko gagawin ito eh. Ito lang. Modification. First, let's start with accounted for as a separate lease. So letter A, we have increase in the scope of the lease. So this can be the lease term or the amount. No? Consideration increases commensurate to standalone price. Ibig sabihin, lumaki yung value ng lease. Okay. Next, treatment. No gain or loss. No gain or loss. Next, we have not accounted for as a separate lease. So number one, we have other lease modification. No gain or loss. Pero there is a decrease naman. Decrease in the scope of the lease. So it can be the total amount of the lease area. O kaya, there is a deduction of the lease term. So pwede po tayo mag-record ng gain or loss. A pro forma journal entry is debit to a lease liability, a debit to loss on lease modification, a credit to lease liability, and gain on lease modification. Depende po sa anong malalabas na amount natin. Okay, now going back. In this problem po, there is a change in the scope of the lease. Right? Nag-extend po yung ating lease term. Okay? So, paano yan? Una, update. Okay? Una, update kailangan. Saan ba ako? Nawala na ako. Una, kailangan natin i-update. Sabihin natin, enter dito a lease building, January 1, 300,000. Okay. Ngayon, kailangan po natin i-update yung value. Kailan daw po nag-change? 3 years. So we need to update the lease period for 3 years. Next, tignan natin. What is the payment? Is it ordinary annuity? Or is it present value in advance? Checking at the problem, ordinary annuity po ang pinapasok natin dito. Okay? Ordinary annuity. Now, to compute for ordinary annuity, let's just get the format. No? Let's get the lease liability muna. How to compute the lease liability? We have the PV of MLP. Magkano po ang ating payment? The payment po is stated at 300,000 pesos. The PV factor po, magkano? The PV factor po will be using the implicit rate of 9%. No? 9%. Okay, 9%. Wait lang guys. Okay, going back. Mic test, mic test. Yeah. Now, going back, kapag meron po tayong change in the lease payment po, okay? Change in the lease payment or lease agreement, paano ba natin rin-measure? Naka-share screen ba ako? Yan. Okay. First, let's get the 3 years. No? PV factor, MLP, that is 9%. Okay, ito. And what is the present value? Okay, tama ba? Apat pa kinuha ko. 1, 2, 4. Okay? Tapos, meron ba tayong residual value? Actually, hindi nagbigay, no? Walang binigay na residual value. So this is 1.095, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Next. Wala na po binigay, no? So we can assume that the lease term is using the, we can assume that the lease liability is equal to the right of use asset. Okay, now table tayo. So the balance. So this will be amortization, principal, interest, and payment. So magkano yan? So this is for, ang taon to? 3 years po tayo gagalaw. So this is January 1, January 1, 2020, December 31, 2020, December 31, 2020. 3 years po, multiplied by 9%. Payment po natin was a fixed 300,000 pesos. Amortization, let's get that. And ulit-ulit lang, no? So our balance po is 527,713. Okay? Mabilis sana kapag Excel kayo mag-e-exam, no? Pero using your calculator, pwede nyo rin po i-shortcut to. So, diretso po sa calculator, ilabas ang calcu, 1166880. Kung gusto nyo makuha yung third year agad, multiply nyo lang 1.09 minus payment, fixed na 300,000. Ulit, 3 years kasi. And the third year, 527,713. Pareho lang, right? It's almost the same using a calculator kapag diretso po. And that you do not wish to use a ano tawag doon? A amortization table. You don't want to do. Pero again, scary to, and it can be inaccurate if you are not a master using this. Depreciation po. Okay. Okay. Now, let's go for the right of use asset. The right of use asset po is 1166880. Depreciation po natin is going to use the lower of 5 years. At X natin, magkano? Okay. Then multiplied by accum debt natin kasi sa third year siya nag-change, no? Times 3. So cost less accumulated depreciation will be your carrying value. Okay, and that is going to be gathered, or this is going to be used for our next computation. Okay, all right. Okay. Now, paano to? In the third year, in the third year, ang sinabi ng problem, nagkaroon po tayo ng new lease agreement. And kailan mangyayari yung kailan mangyayari yung ating remeasurement? So yung ginawa na problem, annual rental payment daw magiging 400,000. Pero after 3 years, no, on January 1, so i-extend niyang additional 5 years. So paano yan? So ang gagawin mo, i-remeasure po natin lahat. Okay? I-remeasure po natin lahat. And we can add anything we can check the difference as a remeasurement of the right of use asset. Okay? So paano dating yan, sir? Paano yung approach niya? So going back, okay, ito yung value natin, no? Tapos sabi, after 3 years, nagkaroon ng modification sa lease. Ito, 400,000. So we will compute, we will get revised MLP, that is 400,000. Okay? Then ilang years na lang po yung lease natin. So in-extend yan ng 5 years, no? Pero ilan ba yung total lease term natin? 5 years. Tapos, dumaan na yung 3 years. Okay? Dumaan na 3 years. After dumaan yung 3 years, 2 years na lang remaining life. Tapos, dadagdagan niya ng 5. So, ilan na yan? 7 years total. Okay? 7 years. So, ulit natin dito. Lease term, 5 years. Use, 3 years. Remaining, 2 years. Extension, 5 years. So, total lease term, 7 years po. So we are going to use the present value using the 7-year period. Okay? 7 years po. So paano yan, sir? So that is 1 divided by 1.0, ay 1 divided by 1.0. Nagbago ba ng discount rate? 12%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minus 1 divided by 12. Ulit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minus 1 divided by 0.2. So this will be our new present value factor that we will be applying for our lease. Okay, so this is PV factor pala to, yung present value. So yung present value natin, multiply lang po natin, and we will get a present value of 182,525,520. Okay, this will be the new lease. Okay, this will be the new lease. And this is what we are going to use for our present value. Okay? Ngayon, this is a modification increase. Okay? Increase in the scope and consideration increase commensurate to the standalone price. Lumaki yung presyo at nag-increase po ng scope ng lease natin. Okay? So dahil dyan, this is accounted for as a separate lease. A new lease contract. Ganyan ang tingin. Now going back, sir, parang may difference, right? Wait, sige pa. Okay, going back, the value is very different from the original, hindi po ba? It is very different. So, paano yan ina-account? So, first, we get the old carrying value versus the new lease liability. Magkano yan? Now, there is a difference. This will be recognized as a right of use asset. Okay? This will be recognized as a right of use asset. 1297807. Okay? So, paano yung ating adjustment na yan? So, the adjustment will be right of use asset carrying value. Ito, add remeasurement. Magkano? Ito po. And this will be the new right of use asset. While the lease liability, we will get the carrying value of lease. Magkano yung carrying value natin? Ito. Add remeasurement. Magkano remeasurement natin? Ito po. Total. And we will get the new lease liability. At lang yung dalawa. Yun na po. Okay? Usually kapag increase in scope, ganyan naman. Okay? All right. Dagdagan pa natin ang sakit ng ulo buhay natin. No? Next question. Prepare the new amortization table. Siyempre, we are going to use the new amortization table. Siyempre, ang balance natin magkano? Ito po, lease liability. Payment now is 400,000. Okay? Then the interest will be based on a 12% interest rate. Ganun lang po. And that is going to be December. Kailan ba nangyari yung remeasurement? It happened on January 2023. No? So, December 2023, December 2024, 5. Okay, then syempre, 400,000, 400,000. Fix lang naman to, no? Bagsak natin sa baba. Then, ito, naka 12% na dapat. Patag. Okay. Zero out. Okay, so that's how you do a remeasurement of a lease where there is an increase in modification. Okay, or increase in scope. Tandaan nyo, if there is an increase in scope, you should not record any gain or loss if there is an increase in the scope of the lease. Next, kapagod. On January 1, 2020, an entity entered into a lease agreement. Okay, so in this situation, there is a change in the scope. Okay? Change in the scope. Nag-increase ba yung scope? Yes. And in the scope, they added additional acquisition of square meters. Okay? Additional acquisition of square meter. Okay, in this situation, the lease is important to check if it is treated as a separate lease. Separate ba? On January, an entity entered into a lease agreement with the following information. On January 1, 2022, the entity and the lessor agreed to amend the original term of the lease with the following information. Additional floor square meters, increase in the rental payment, and implicit rate. In the increase of the rental is equivalent to the current fair market value. Prepare the journal entries for the pertinent modification. Okay. So in this situation, parang tinagdagan niya yung flooring niya, no? Dinagdagan niya yung kanyang space. Oo, in-increase niya yung space ng lease term niya. So paano ina-account for the increase in the space? Okay. So first, let's compute for the original lease. The original lease. Okay, so paano yan? Wala ako. Ayan. Magkano yung lease natin? That is square meter increase, no? So, first, annual rental payable. Kunin ko lang yung template natin dito. MLP natin, rental payable at the end of each year. So we'll use present value of 1. A present value of ordinary annuity, 8 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ulit. $6.6686. Okay? Then magkano po yung payment natin? 100,000. So this will be the present value. Okay? So the company did not follow or did not show any direct acquisition cost. Therefore, the right of use asset is equal to the lease liability. Next, on January 1, the entity agreed to amend the original lease with the following information, like add po siya ng additional square meter. Okay? Ng additional square meter. Ang treatment po nito is that it is treated as a separate lease. Okay? It is treated as a separate lease. So, paano yan kino-compute? So, kapag separate lease po, nagawa ka ng additional lang. Magkano yan? 4.5. Magkano? PV of MLP. That is payment, 200,000. So, nakakalito lang yung square meter, no? Implicit rate, syempre, ang gagamitin natin yung implicit rate ng kontrata. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ilan taon yan? Ilang taon na lang ba? 2020, 2021. 2 years na lumipas, so 6 years na lang po gagamitin natin. Okay? 6 years po. Ano yung implicit rate niya? 8, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 4, 6, 2, 2, 9. Okay, and we'll have our PV factor. Now, i-add lang po natin. Add lang po natin. At yun na po yung sagot. Actually, hindi mo pwedeng i-add pala to. Dapat i-amortization muna. Okay, let's just do an amortization table first. So yung ating balance po is following 6 years. The interest rate po is using what rate? That is a 10% interest rate. And yung payment natin is at a constant 100,000. So our amortization is at this. So this is for January 1, January 20, January 1, December 31, December 31, December 31. Of course, let's copy this. Copy. Kailan nangyari yung amendment? So, January 1. So, tigil tayo. Second year, tigil na pala tayo. Okay, the balance is 596,901. Okay, 596,901. So, this add additional standard, ano tawag yan, separate lease. Add mo lang. And this will be your lease liability. Sa right of use asset, same treatment lang din. Okay? Same treatment lang din. However, sa right of use asset, syempre, right of use asset, vacuum depth natin is 5, is ito, multiplied by 2. Okay, so yung carrying value natin ay amount, and of course, add new right of use asset. We will get the carrying value of right of use asset. Add mo lang siya. Kasi separate lease yung dating yan kapag nag-acquire ka ng additional plot. Okay? Separate lease. Okay, paano mo malaman, sir, kapag separate lease? Usually, kapag separate lease, dalawa lang. Either nag-increase po ng consideration given, o kaya nag-increase ng scope ng lease. Basta increase po, ang tingin niyan, separate or standalone lease. Okay? And again, this will not incur any gain or loss. Now, let's go to finance lease. No? Ilang problem na lang tayo? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 na lang. Ay, naku, may sailing list na. Okay. Start tayo. So, Ano ba kailangan natin malaman in regards po sa finance lease lessor accounting? Sir, Diyos ko, hindi pa ba to yung total ng lease? Yes, hindi pa po. Meron po tayong tinatawag na lessor accounting. Okay? So kung lessee accounting yung kanina, medyo nahirapan kayo, may lessor accounting pa, no? Hindi ako nag-isip nito, no? Kung sino man nag-isip niyan, no? May sama ng loob sa mundo. Imagine mo, magising ka isang araw. Gawin ko kaya yung magising ka isang araw, sabihin mo, okay, gawa tayo ng kakaiba. At lumabas na po ang tinatawag nating finance. Sige, start tayo. Ursa Corporation is in the business of leasing new high-tech equipment as lessor. Ursa expects a 12% return. All these are classified as a direct finance lease. Ano ba pinagkaiba ng direct finance lease sa sales type lease? Ang direct finance lease is just a lease out. Kumbaga, talagang purpose mo, ipa-lease out. While a sales type lease po is that a lease where the company intends to produce real estate or equipment for the purpose of sale. Yun yung pinaka-main difference nila. Yung isa, hindi nila intention na negosyo yon. While yung kabila, negosyo talaga nila yan. So let's talk about the difference and the scope on how to compute the different types of lease. Let's first start with a direct finance lease. Paano yan kino-compute? Ursa Corp is in the business of leasing a new high-tech equipment. As lessor, Ursa expects a 12% return on the net investment. So here are the details. No? We have a residual value unguaranteed. We have rental payment, highlight, underline, and circle, no? Advance. Payable in advance. Then we also get an initial direct cost. Okay? Initial direct cost. So how are we going to account for this? Okay? Okay. Kasi ako, iniisip ko rin, parang gagawin dito. Sige, kaya. Atake. Sige. So first, let's try to get the gross investment. How to compute for the gross investment? So this is problem number 7. Gross investment. So to compute for your gross investment, that is going to be a total lease payment lang yan. Okay? Gross investment. So let's see. Gross investment. That is the minimum lease payment multiplied by lease period. So magkano yung ating minimum lease payment? That is rental payment of 900,000. Magkano lease term natin? Ano yung lease term natin? 8 years. At 7.2 million pesos. Then we add unguaranteed residual value. Okay? We add unguaranteed residual value. Nakakuha? Sir, bakit? Bakit ina-add to? Kasi dito mo makikita yung difference ng sales type lease at ng direct finance lease. Okay? So, add unguaranteed residual value. Tapos, meron ba tayong initial direct cost? Ayun, meron. Kakailanganin ba natin to? Hindi pa. Mamaya. So first, let's compute for the gross investment. So gross investment is the total minimum lease payment plus any unguaranteed residual value accruing to the lessor. So that is magkano po? Our gross, our kadiring investment po is 7.8 million. Now, how to compute for the net investment? Okay? So for the net investment po, there are two methods in computing the gross investment. Okay? There are two methods. Method number one. Okay? Method number one. You present value all the minimum lease payment. Yung lease payment natin, actually dito, no, net investment. Minimum lease payment, that is magkano ba yun? 900,000 multiplied by PV factor. Now, dahil in advance, ganito pag present value natin, 1.12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 divided by 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, tigil. Minus 1 divided by 0.12 plus 1 sa dulo. Okay? And this will be your present value factor. Ulit. 1 divided by 1.12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, tigil. Minus 1 divided by 12, divided by 12, minus 1. And this will be your present value. Kapag kukunin nyo, tanggalin nyo na lang yung negative sign, no? Para hindi kayo malito. And this will be your present value. Magkano po? That is 5,007,330. And of course, we add the unguaranteed residual value. Magkano ang present value factor natin? 12, no? 1.12, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bakit 8 to, sir? Yung isa, 7 lang? Kasi this payment will happen after 8 years. Okay? 8 years. Ito kasi, it is paid 7 times and that the first payment will be done immediately. Kaya nga in advance. So magkano po yung ating unguaranteed residual value? That is 600,000 pesos. Multiply natin. Total. Magkano po yung ating net investment? Okay? That is 5,249,610. Okay? Or kapag in-estimate natin, ganito po, shortcut. Cost of equipment. Magkano cost natin? 5 million. Magkano po yung direct cost? 250. So magkano po yung ating net investment? Okay. Kulang 0. 5,250. Okay? Actually, dagdagan natin yung decimal places. Baka unequal. Alam ko, decimal places lang ito. Medyo dahil sa rounding off yan eh. Okay? Dahil sa rounding off. Pero pareho siya. Right? Yung difference niya siguro konti lang. So, gawin na natin 5,250. So, net investment natin magkano? That is 5,250. And what is the interest income over the lease term? Pag sinabi yan, it is actually asking for the unearned interest. So how to compute for the unearned interest, sir? So to compute for unearned interest, you get your gross investment gross investment less net investment. So yung gross natin, 7.8. Yung net natin, magkano? 520. Therefore, your unearned interest is 2,550. Okay? And what is the interest income for the year? So, paano ma-compute yung interest income for the year? What you're going to use is the net investment. Net investment po natin is 5,250. Then, interest rate. Net interest rate amortization. Okay, so yung payment natin is 900,000 muna. Then may interest rate na tayo sa following payment, no? Kasi in advance tayo. Pagkano interest rate? That is 12%. Payment, fix yan. Amortization. Teka. Tama. Ay, hindi, dapat ibaba ko to. Yeah. And tapos yan. Siyempre, our interest income is 52200. Okay? Now, let's put a journal entry para kumpleto po tayo. We are going to debit lease receivable. Now, the lease receivable po will be following the gross investment. Now, what are we going to credit? We're going to credit the equipment. The equipment will be credited how much? The cost. Magkano ba cost na equipment natin? That is 5 million. Di ba? Yan yung binigay natin eh. Kaya credit 5 million. Wala namang accumulated depreciation, so walang masyadong magulo dito. Ang nagpapahirap nito is may accumulated depreciation pa. So talagang sama ng loob yung pag-compute niya. Okay? Speaking of, no, baka magtaka kayo, no? Sa lessor accounting kasi whether guaranteed or unguaranteed, sinasama siya. I forgot to mention. Whether guaranteed or unguaranteed. Okay? Actually, may depende kasi yan eh. Depende sa transfer of ownership, kung meron or wala. And that kung may bargain purchase option. Okay, now going back ulit tayo. Tuloy ang laban. Now, nag-credit tayo ng equipment, tapos syempre magka-credit tayo ng cash for our direct acquisition cost. And syempre, magka-credit tayo ng unearned interest. It's a liability. No? Para tapos. Right? Free lang. Mas madali ang lessor compared kay lessee. Kay lessee kasi masyadong bida-bida si lessee. So maraming nangyayari kay lessee. Ganda. So wait lang. Break tayo mga 10 minutes. And let's continue. 10 minutes. So balik tayo mga 8 o'clock. I'm back. Woo! Hype. Ay, 8 na ba? Ito pala na. Sige. Wait lang. 8 o'clock. Sakto. Sakto matapos. Kunti na lang kasi yung problem. Madali na lang yan. Idagdag ko rin pala dito, guaranteed or unguaranteed. So yung sinend yung handout, pakibasa na lang. And balikan nyo na lang itong recording para hindi mabalikan kayo, malamang. No? So magiging supplemental to para sa ating pagkaintindi pagdating sa list. Alam ko marami nahihirapan dito. Gusto. Kapag may estudyante na intindihan yung list sa isang tingin, syempre, baka may sakit na sa ulo yun. O kaya pinanganak na may calculator sa mukha. Kaya ako nahihirapan ako dito sa list. Daming ginagawa kasi. Parang there are 5 separate treatments for separate occasions. Eh. Going back, 8 o'clock na. Start na tayo. So, next problem po, here, we have a, naka-share screen pa rin ako, no? Okay, naka-share screen pa ako. Medusa Corp is a dealer in machinery. On January 1, 2020, a machinery is leased to another entity with the following provisions. Annual rental payable at the end of each year, a lease term of 5, a useful life of 5. Cost of machinery is 2 million. Initial direct cost, estimated residual value. Okay. At the end of the lease term, the machinery will revert to Medusa Corporation, so there will be no transfer of ownership. What is the gross investment, the net investment? What is the gross profit on sale? Okay. So sale and lease back na yung dulo. No? Okay. Now, actually, babalikan ko ulit yung problem. Lagay ko mamaya, assume sales type lease. Okay, so let's go to problem number 8. So same problem lang, same style. Wala namang pinagkaiba. However, ay, yun pala, no? A dealer in machinery, silent yung problem. I think yung kanina kasi, wait lang ha. Yeah. Sinabi niya, ide-direct finance lease niya. Dito, walang sinabi kung ide-direct finance lease. However, etong term, a dealer in machinery, automatic. Kapag sinabi, sales type lease po siya. Okay? Kapag sinabi dealer siya, automatic sales type. Okay, now ano pinakaiba ng sales type lease sa direct finance lease? Yung pinaka-distinction po nila is what you call a profit. Okay, may profit po sila. Yan yung isa sa pinakamalaking distinction po nila. Okay? The profit. Now going back, let's try to solve the problem. No? So first we have the present value of the lease. So first let's start with the gross investment. Okay. Let's compute for the gross investment. So for the computation of the gross investment, that is going to be the rent payment. Multiply po natin yung ating lease term by years. That's the total. Next. Okay, next, let's see if there is a residual value. Meron ba? Estimated residual value lang binigay. Ano? No? Ganito na lang. Ibahin natin. No? So maglalagay na lang tayo scenario. Okay, scenario. Kasi kapag silent, estimated residual value as is yan. Hindi yan part ng computation natin. Okay, so let's go back. Gross investment, then Ay, hindi, maganda pala ilagay ito. Lagay. Sige. Gross investment. So let's go for scenario number 1, number 8. Assume guaranteed. Okay? Kapag guaranteed, ito po treatment ha. Gross investment, add guaranteed residual value. So magkano yung residual value natin? That is 200,000. Then, ayun lang, no? Wala na. We will get our gross investment. Let's go for your net investment. So for the net investment, let's compute the present value of minimum lease payments. Ilang percent ang implicit rate? 10%. Ilang years yung lease term? 5 years. So to compute that, we get the MLP MLP natin, or PV of MLP, that is 800,000 pesos. Present value factor natin, ilang percent po? 10%, no? So that is 1 divided by 1.1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 1 divided by 0.1. 4 decimal places tayo. Then we have a guaranteed residual value. No? First scenario, we assume guaranteed. So, kapag guaranteed po ang residual value, let's say guaranteed residual value, magkano po yan? That is 200,000 pesos. No? 200,000 pesos. So kapag guaranteed ang residual value, 200,000. And anong present value factor na gagamitin po natin? Again, 10%, 5 years. Or decimal places tayo. Present value, and of course, this is your net investment. Total lang natin. Okay. Now, this is your net investment. Now, actually, let's compare that net investment with the cost of machinery. Pansinin niyo po, hindi po pareho. Hindi po ba? Okay? Hindi siya pareho. Kasi hindi talaga yung magpapareho. Okay? Hindi siya pareho. Kapag po sales type, umiiba po yung ating computation. No? Now, hindi yan sakto kapag pinag-uusapan natin itong, tama ba yung computation ko speaking of? Ano ba yung lease term natin? 5 years. Okay? At the end of each year, 10%, no? Try ko nga ulit. Then, yung ating payment is 800,000 per annum. Multiplied lang. Okay, that is 3 million. Okay? And, yeah. All right. Now, we first compute for the sales account. Okay? The sales account. If sales type lease po to, the net investment is classified as the sales account as to sales type lease. Okay? Bawal mo po i-compute yung ganito. Bawal to kapag sales type. Kasi hindi sumasakto lagi kapag sales type lease. Okay? Hindi yan sasakto. Now, let's first compute for the dealer's profit. The dealer's profit will be your sales. So, ano yung sales natin? Ito. less cost of goods sold, cost of goods sold. Okay? Cost of goods sold. So, paano yung kino-compute yung cost of goods sold? This will be the cost. This is for guaranteed, cost. Magkano ba yung cost natin? That is 2 million pesos. Okay? Then, yung ating guaranteed residual value. Magkano yan? Yung 200,000 pesos. So, yung ating total cost of sales po is 2.2 million pesos. Okay? Now, dyan po papasok yung ating dealer's profit. Okay? Dyan papasok yung ating dealer's profit. Wait lang, parang mali. Hindi nga. Kasi na-add ko na pala sa taas, no? You add the initial direct cost. Mali. Hindi. Yan ano. Magkano initial direct cost? 100,000. Yan na. Total cost of sales natin, 2.2 million, and we will get our dealer's profit. Yan. Mamaya pala yun. Excited ako. Pang-unguaranteed yun. Okay? Now you will get your dealer's profit. Okay? Dealer's profit po. Then, gawa rin tayo ng point of comparison pala, no? Para sa dalawa. Para mas mag-gets yung difference ng guaranteed and unguaranteed para sa sales type list. Now, going back, we have a dealer's profit of 1056740. Okay? Now, let's compute for your unearned interest. How to compute for the unearned interest? This will be your gross investment less your net investment. Okay? For the sales. And what we will have is your unearned interest. Okay? Ganun lang. No? Unearned interest. Diretsong minus lang. Wait, sinama ko ba yung present value of guaranteed residual? Yes. Okay? So this is your unearned interest. Then we have a separate dealer's profit. Okay? So hiwalay po siya. Pansinin nyo Pansinin nyo yung distinction po. Okay? Papansinin yan. Kasi mamaya, iba ang solution. Kapag po, let's get the same problem. And let's assume unguaranteed. Now, kapag unguaranteed, actually, ito lang, kunin lang natin, halos pareho lang kasi yan. May small distinction lang siya, kaya nagkakamali mga bata dito. So using the problem, pero assume natin unguaranteed yung residual value. Kapag unguaranteed po yung residual value, ito po treatment. Yung main distinction po niya is that in the net investment, okay? In the net investment and the gross investment, there will be a distinction. So first, let's compute for the gross investment. The gross investment, unguaranteed. Sinasama natin, regardless, guaranteed and guaranteed, part ng gross investment. However, sa dealer's profit, dito tayo magkakaroon ng distinction. Sales tayo. Kapag po unguaranteed, okay? Kapag unguaranteed, hindi po kasama ng sales yung hindi po kasama ng sales yung unguaranteed residual value. Ang dating yan ganito. Let's just get the same formula. Pareho lang. However, hindi mo po ito sasama sa baba. Okay? Hindi siya kasama. Parang masyadong mataas pa to. Cut ko lang. Okay? Dito po. Wait, okay. Dito po. Okay? So, mawawala yung formula dito. E saan napunta yan, sir? E bakit siya kasama dito? Okay. Saan ba? Problem, no? Tama pala. Tama dito. Okay? So, ganito lang yung computation. However, hindi po makakasama sa sales natin yung present value ng unguaranteed residual value. So, paano yan, sir? So, sales natin, ganito, kukunin natin, same lang, no? Hindi naman same, pero yung sales natin, pansinin nyo, there is a distinction. 3154, eto, wala. And sa cost of goods sold po siya nagpaparamdam. Okay? Sa cost of goods sold. So, paano yan? So, here, cost of goods sold, ganito formula niya. Unguaranteed residual value, naka-negative po. Okay? Naka-negative siya dito sa computation. Okay. So, magkano ba yung ating present value of residual value? Present value of unguaranteed. Same lang naman, no? Classification lang naman nagkaiba. Times negative. Yan. Okay? Deduction po siya sa formula. Dito yung distinction niya. And we will get our total cost of goods sold. Add. And we will get our dealer's profit. So, dealer's profit natin. Okay. Almost the same, no? Yeah, they are actually the same. However, sa cost of goods sold sila nagkaiba. Okay? Kapag tinanong. Is the total cost. Makatanungin din, no? Sama ko na rin. Baka kasi cogs ng unguaranteed sa guaranteed. Okay? Now, ano yung pinaka-distinction na nakikita natin dito? Number one, sa sales, hindi po siya in-add. However, dineduct lang siya sa cost of goods sold. Bakit ganun? Bakit ganun yung treatment, sir? Kasi, kapag guaranteed po tayo, okay lang po siyang i-report as revenue. Pero kung hindi tayo sure, okay, ang accounting sabi, dahil hindi ka sure na or hindi guaranteed yung payment sa iyo ng lessee mo, gawin mo na lang deduction ng cost. So dealer's profit po will have no distinction when it comes to the total amount. However, the distinction will arise as to the total cost of goods sold and the total sales of a guaranteed or unguaranteed residual value. And note, the unearned interest po will be at a constant. Okay? The unearned interest po will be at a constant. Nakukuha? Pareho lang. So, let's have a distinction as to their journal entries. So, for guaranteed, debit po tayo. We are going to debit a lease receivable. This is going to be your gross investment. Magkano ba gross investment ng guaranteed natin? 4.2 lang din, no? Hindi naman nagbago. Then we are going to debit cost of sales. Now, ang cost of sales natin under a gross investment approach, magkano ba ulit yan? That is cost sales, ayan, 2 million, no? 2 million yung cost. Initial direct cost kasi iba eh, no? Then, wait. So, i-distinguish ko na rin pala. Wait lang ha. Para pala mas maganda presentation. Okay. Tapos initial direct cost, no? Natin. Ayan. Hogs. Ayusin ko rin sa taas para kapag tignan niya mas madali. Okay, now going back. Journal entry, debit cost of goods sold. Debit po tayo ng initial direct cost. Usually capitalizable naman to kasi sa cost of goods sold. Pero there are some problems kasi na hindi pinagsasama. So just to be safe. Next, we're going to credit sales. Now sales is going to follow what? Sales is going to follow pinompute natin kanina. Magkano ba yung sales? Okay. Then we're going to credit unearned interest. So yung unearned interest natin, pinompute rin natin kanina, is 1043,260. Okay? So wait lang ha. Ano ginamit ko for my net investment? Gross investment minus net investment. Tama. Sa baba, pareho rin ba? Dapat pareho yan eh. Ay, hindi. Dapat net investment ko, ito, sa computation ng unearned. Okay, pareho po ang unearned interest ng guaranteed sa unguaranteed. Going back, unearned interest natin is this amount. Tapos, sales, unearned. Credit tayo ng inventory. 2 million. Balanse ba? Ayan. So that's the journal entry po for a guaranteed residual value. Unguaranteed, however, okay, unguaranteed, however, we'll just have a little bit of tweaks. Okay? Yung mga konting tweaks lang tayo dito. Here and there, no? Wait lang ha. Ito 10,000, no? Credit cash. Yung balance. Okay, so sa unguaranteed, ito treatment natin, internal entries lang. different amounts. So lease receivable po natin ay constant. Yung ating cost of sales, ayan, magkakaiba. Ang cost of sales po na rinireport under a unguaranteed residual value po is a lower amount. Okay? A lower amount kapag unguaranteed. Initial direct cost, constant din po yan. Unearned interest po natin ay constant din po. Kung ano rin-report na guaranteed, same rin sa unguaranteed. However, yung sales po natin iba. And that yung ating sales ay based sa computation natin kaganina. And ito na po, total. Now, let's check if balance po. Pareho lang, no? So, yan po ang pinaka-main difference ng guaranteed and unguaranteed as to their journal entries. Ngayon, let's go to the next problem. The next problem po is what we call an operating lease. So, ito, madali na lang po. Okay? Madali na lang. Visage Company is engaged in heavy equipment. On December 1, the entity bought a second-hand heavy equipment for 750,000 pesos and incurred 150,000 for a major overhaul. To put the equipment in good running condition, the equipment had an estimated useful life of 5 years and the entity is using the straight line method. On April 1, Visage leased the equipment to TYL for 3 years. Up to March 31, 2024, Visage incurred insurance and property taxes totaling 120,000 pesos. Additionally, TYL paid 300,000 to Visage as a lease bonus for the 3 lease period. And Visage paid 90,000 commission associated with the negotiation, and the annual lease payment are as follows. Now, number 1 rule po sa pagko-compute ng annual rent, okay? Annual rent income is that in the computation of annual rent income, dapat po fixed siya. Regardless kung kailan po or magkano ang babayaran. Dapat fixed amount po siya. Okay? Dapat fixed. Okay, now let's go back. First, let's check the cost associated with said problem. Okay, so 750 tapos nag-incur siya ng 900,000. So books ni lessor to and books ni lessor. Problem number 9. Lessor books muna tayo. So dahil siya pa rin ang lessor pa rin ang may-ari, equipment, dapat that is 750,000. Okay? Tapos, meron siyang binayaran na direct cost. Ang direct cost niya is 150,000 pesos. Capitalized po yan sa leased asset. Okay. So that is April, May, June. Okay, sige, pareho lang. 3 years lang din. So yung total cost ng equipment natin, right now, dahil capitalizable po yung overhaul cost na yan, 900,000 pesos. On December 31, okay, pinalis na po natin yung property. Okay? So on April 1, Visage leased the equipment to TYL and incurred property insurance taxes totaling 120,000. Ang tawag dyan is your executory cost. Ang executory cost ko po ay expense outright. Okay? Expense outright. Tapos, TYL paid 300,000 lease bonus and paid a commission. Si Visage nagbayad, no? Ng commission na 90,000. Okay? Na 90,000. Associated with the negotiation of the lease. So nagbayad siya ng 90,000. So ito, ang tawag po dito sa 90,000 na commission is your initial direct cost. However, itong property taxes and insurance is called executory cost. An executory cost po is an operating expense and must be expensed outright. While yung mga initial direct costs po can be capitalizable provided that the lessor was the one who paid. Now, let's try to solve. This payment, magkano po? That is year 1, 100,000. Year 2, 900,000. Year 3, 1.2 million. So, total or minimum lease payment natin, $2.7 million divided by lease term, 3 years. So this is your annual rent income. So, dapat nagre-report siya for 12 months, 900,000 pesos. Okay? For 12 months. Okay, ano pa pwede natin makonsider dito? We have a lease bonus. So the lease bonus po is magkano? 300,000 divided by lease term. Annual lease bonus, 100,000. Tapos, meron din tayong direct cost. Na 90,000. Amortized over the lease term. Annual direct cost amortization. Okay, that is 30,000 pesos. With that out of the way, let's try to compute po. Okay? Ang tanong kasi, prepare the journal entry for the books of the lessor and the lessee for 2020, 2021, and 2022. Okay. Okay. Sige. 2020, 2021. Bakit may 2020? Okay. Hindi, huwag na lang i-compute. Journal entry, mahahassle pa eh. Compute na lang natin yung total rental income for 2021. Mas madali yan. So, annual income is 900,000. However, the lease term started April to December. So, ilang buwan yan? April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 9 months. 9 over 12. Okay? So, rent income reported by lessor, 675. Tapos, lease bonus. Kailan binigay yung lease bonus? At the inception, no? So, same concept. That is 100,000 multiplied by April to December. That is 9 over 12. Okay? Bonus to be reported, 75,000. Tapos, meron din tayong direct cost. And yung direct cost natin is how much? That is 30,000 per annum. Kaso dahil April to December lang tayo, 9 over 12. Okay, direct cost reported times 9 over 12. That's 225,100. So now that we have the 3, Okay, meron pa tayo, depreciation. So yung depreciation expense natin, annual. Okay? Annual. Kasi nga, naka-acquire naman natin yan before the lease term. So depreciation expense natin, magkano yung cost? Actually, may na-compute naman na tayo yung depreciation expense. No? Una na lang natin. Ito, divided by yung useful life niya, 5 years. Okay, now we have all of the data required. We can now compute for the net income of the lessor. Okay, rent income, lease bonus, less direct cost, and depreciation expense. So you will get our net income. Actually, meron pa pala tayo. Executory cost. Magkano yung executory cost ng problem? Sabi nito, 120,000. And with that, we can get our net income. Okay? Net income. This is for the lessor books. For lessee, yung total expenses ni lessee will just be the rent expense, which is equal to the rent income. Lease bonus, that is also equal to the lease bonus. Tama ba 100K? Hindi, 75K lang. Bakit sum? Ito, plus, minus, minus. Yan. The lease bonus, tapos wala na po iba. So total rent expense. Operating naman madali no? Hindi na kailangan masyadong elaborate. Pero yan po yung total expense niya. Okay? So yung rent income 427 kapag lessor books, then lessee books 70. Ngayon, para hindi kayo malito, when we say lessor, okay? Lessor gets more. So lessor po, siya yung binabayaran. Okay? Lessee gets less. So siya yung nagbabayad. Para hindi kayo malito, para malaman nyo, lessor siya yung landlord, lessee siya yung tenante. Okay? Now with that, let's go to the sale and lease back concept. New standard application. Ano po? Yung nakakabuset. Kaya ako minamadali. Now, going back, we have a new treatment. Actually, hindi naman na to new, no? Tinuturo naman na to right now. However, this treatment po is what we call a sale and lease back under the new illustration of the standard. So, on January 1, Void Corporation sells a building to Picon and simultaneously leases it back. Benta, akin na. Additional information, fair value of building, 500, 400, yung carrying value, remaining useful life, 10 years, and the lease term is 5 years, and the annual rent payable po is 50,000. Implicit rate po is 12%. Ngayon, paano natin i-approach po ito if sale and leaseback? Ang sale and leaseback, binenta mo yung property mo tapos in-acquire mo ulit. So how does it look like? How does it jive when it comes to the application of the journal entries part? Una, pinaka-importante po is to compute the present value applicable. So, PV of MLP tayo ulit. Ito, idediretso ko na lang, no? So, yung ating present value factor po is 1 divided by 1.12. Okay. So, PV factor natin. Then, we multiply the amount. Magkano ba yung amount? That is 50,000. So, PV, 180K lang, no? Ang baba. Rent payable at the end of each year. Okay? Now, what's important actually, guys, is the fair market value and the selling price. Ito po yung pinaka-importanting chinecheck natin. Okay? So, paano yan kino-compute? Okay? Paano yan kino-compute? First, let us compute for the total gain. Actually, let's first compute pala the additional financing or prepayments. So to compute that, let's first start with the selling price. Magkano selling price natin? 5. So let's first go to scenario 1, no? Scenario 1. Our selling price po is 500,000 pesos, while our fair market value po is also 500,000. So there is no additional financing or prepayment. Next, we compute for the total gain. For the total gain, you compute that using the fair market value, which is 500,000 given, less the carrying value. What is the carrying value of said problem? 400,000. So what will be our total gain? 100,000 pesos. Ngayon, we are required to allocate. Okay? We are required to allocate. So allocation po, ganito itsura. Kasi kapag nag-sale and lease back ka daw, ang tingin ng accounting is that you are not totally giving the property to the person who sold the goods. You are actually giving him a portion of the property. Okay? You are giving them a portion of the property sold. Nakukuha? You are giving a portion of the property sold. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na rights retained and rights transferred. So paano yan tignan? First, you implement the fair market value here. And you put rights retained. Then rights transferred. So magkano po yung ating rights retained? Ang rights retained will be the present value of our MLP. Okay? This will be the present value of our minimum lease payment. Our rights transferred, however, okay, our rights transferred po is going to follow the fair value. Okay? Baba. Dahil fair value to, sa baba, fair value. Magkano ba fair value natin? 500,000. So, how much was the rights transferred? 319,765. Now, we will get a ratio. To get the ratio, divide mo lang po. Medyo matrabaho, no? Divide. Then, we get the carrying amount, then we proportionate the amounts given. So, yung carrying amount natin magkano? 400,000 pesos, right? At gagawin mo lang 400,000 multiplied by the ratio. Okay? Tapos, you get the gain or loss, kung ano man. So, ito, minus lang. Here's the gain. And here's the gain. Kapag inad mo po itong dalawa, 100,000. This is your total gain. So, ganun po mag-compute niyan. Ang mga tinatanong niyan, how much is the right transferred? How much is the gain on the rights transferred? How much is the gain on the rights retained? Next tayo. Let's go to scenario number 2. Letter B. Letter B, assume the sales price is 550. So you're just going to copy this. So, pareho lang yan. Kopya-kopya mo lang. Latag. Okay? Now, in this problem, the selling price is at a constant 500,000, no? And the fair market value has changed to 550,000 pesos for letter B. Therefore, we have an additional financing. Prepayment. We have additional prepayment. Okay? So ano po ang treatment kapag may prepayment, sir? Ang prepayment po, ibig sabihin there is an additional payment. Bakit, sir? Di ka naman nagbayad ah? Meron. It's presumed. Because you're selling it 500,000 pero in the market, 550 pala talaga siya. So you were actually prepaid. Ganun ang tingin. You are prepaid by 50,000. But the fair market value again has changed to 550,000, no? But the carrying value is a constant. The total gain is going to be stated at 150,000 pesos. Okay? Now, our rights retained will again have a different formula. Paano yan, sir? So, rights retained is going to be the present value of add prepayment less additional financing. So, magkano po ang prepayment natin dito? Sinabi ng problem, there was a 50,000 prepayment. So, total rights retained natin is 230,235. 230,235. Can get a ratio here. Right? Tama ba? Ito. Total fair market value, 550. Okay? Then, same formula lang. Multiply mo lang, carrying amount multiplied by the ratio. Again, carrying amount multiplied by the ratio. Pansinin nyo po, pareho. Ang total gain natin, same lang. Nakukuha? Next scenario. Sale price is 450,000 pesos. Wait lang ha. Yung fair market value pala niya 500,000, no? So 500,000 pa rin pala to. Same pa rin. Right? Same pa rin. Yung nagbago pala dito, selling price. Okay, next tayo. Next scenario. Letter C. So, selling price naman natin, nagbago. Ay, teka. Ano ba ginawa ko sa taas? Selling price by 50, fair market value. Baliktad ginawa ko. Selling price dapat is 550. Then fair market value, 500,000. Meron ako additional financing pala. Lagay ko dito sa baba. Okay, so yung rights retained ko pala is itong amount. Same pa rin. Right? Same pa rin. Now, let's go to the next scenario. In the next scenario po, the selling price daw po is 450,000. So we have addition prepayment. So prepayment, 50,000. Add. Total gain po natin, again, this will be the fair market value less the carrying value. 100,000 total gain natin. And again, magtatanong kasi usually yung problem dito sa dulo. Okay? Sa dulo. Okay, now, ganun lang po ang sale and leaseback na bago. Template, and once you get the template, okay na po. Now, in the last scenario, assume that there is no sale. Okay? There is no sale. What if hindi po nag-satisfy as a sale? Letter B. Kapag hindi po nag-satisfy as a sale yung transaction nyo po for sale and leaseback, ang sabi ng PFRS number 15 in conjunction with PFRS number 9, required po tayo mag-record ng isang lease liability. Okay? Lease liability. So, dalawang point of view to. Seller lessor, buyer lessee. Wait. Seller lessee pala. Baliktad. Seller lessee, buyer lessor. Ito lahat point of view ng seller lessee. Seller lessee. So, dito, i-compute naman natin yung point of view kung hindi nag-qualify as sale. Magde-debit po siya ng cash si seller. So magkano niya binenta po? Yung lease, binenta niya po, magkano ba? 500,000 pesos, magde-debit siya ng cash. At magke-credit siya ng financial liability. While yung buyer lessor, magde-debit po ng financial asset. Kung magkano binayad? Magke-credit siya ng cash kasi siya nagbayad. Kasi siya nagbayad. So ito yung point of view. Ngayon, tignan natin naman sa point of view dito sa taas, ulitin natin. Point of view of the lessee. So sa letter A, ang point of view ni lessee, okay? Lagi po siyang magde-debit lang, ito madali lang naman to para kay lessee. Okay? Magde-debit yan ng, nakakuha yan ng building eh. So magde-debit yan ng building. Or ano ba yung binenta? Building, no? Okay, makakakuha yan ng building. Ano susundan, sir? You're going to use always the fair market value. 500,000. Magde-debit siya ng financial asset. At magkikredit po yan ng cash. Magkano binayad natin? 500,000. No? Fair market value, 500. Cash, 500. So wala palang financial asset. Kanya lang niya rin na record. Okay, next. POV lessee. Ulit. Baba. Debit and building. Based on the fair market value, magkano? 500,000. Credit yan ng cash based sa selling price. Magkano selling price natin? 550. So, meron siyang additional financing. Or meron siyang additional na nabayaran pala. So, that will be a financial asset. 50,000. Aba. Third transaction. So, POV lessee. Mag-debit po yan ng building. Again, fair market value, 500,000. Mag-credit yan ng cash, which is the selling price. Kulang, so mag-credit yan ng financial tie-up. This will be amortized using the implicit borrowing rate or the present value or the, ano kasi, ang mangyayari dyan, we are going to, ano tawag dyan, interpolate a new interest rate. At wala na tayong oras para mag-interpolate. Okay? So with that, we are now done sa importante. And let's try to answer the MCQ before we end this session. Number 1. Which of the following is not a criteria when determining whether a contract or is or contains a lease? Number 1, may identifiable asset. Actually, lagay tayo sa taas. Nakalagay dyan. Para masabi isang lease, under PFRS number 16, it is a contract that conveys the right to use an underlying asset for a time period in the exchange of the condition. Okay? So, baba tayo. Ano ba dito hindi part? The right to is not one, no, criteria. Meron dapat identified asset, may right to obtain substantially all the economic benefits from the use of an identified asset throughout the period of use, right to direct and use the unidentified asset through the period. Ang wala, liability. Kasi hindi lahat ng lease may liability. Next, under PFRS 16, which of the following is false? Okay? Ano daw false? Lease term includes periods covered by an option to extend the lease if the lease is reasonably certain to exercise that option. Pwede. Tama ang D. C. The current view on the accounting for lease by lessees is that all leases are on balance sheet items with very minimal exception. Minimal. Lessee, no? Mali. False po ang letter B. Kasi there is an operating lease. Wait, PFR 16 pala to. 16 is the new. So on balance sheet lahat. An underlying asset is not considered an identified asset for the purpose of applying the accounting requirement for PFR 16 if the supplier's substitution right is not substantive. A portion of an asset being leased is an identified asset if it is physically distinct. Hindi. Hindi naman distinct po ang isang identifiable asset. Next, according to PFR 16, lease payments exclude which of the following? Purchase option, kasama, no? Reasonably certain to be exercised. Ito, hindi certain. So, hindi siya bargain purchase option, exclude ang 1. Fixed amount of rental, kasama. Wait, included ang rental. Amount expected to be payable by the lessee under a residual value guarantees. Kasama, no? Dapat guarantee nga eh. So, included. Cost for services and taxes paid by the lessee, excluded. Executory cost to. Okay, so 1 and 4 sagot natin. Next, in relation to PFRS number 16, determine the correct statement. So, ito na yun, diretso taas. Mali ang letter A. In relation to a low value lease, the value of the underlying asset is based on the value of the asset when new, regardless of the age of the asset. Then a right of use asset is measured initially and subsequently at cost. Pwede to. Okay? The discount rate used by the lessee in the accounting for lease is the interest rate implicit to the lease or lessee's incremental borrowing rate, whichever is higher. Ano sabi sa taas, sa PFRS number 16? For the implicit rate, okay? The lease payment above shall be discounted using the implicit rate. Diretso lang, walang whichever is higher. Okay? Walang whichever is higher. So false din siya. Okay? Right of use asset is measured at cost. Tama. Tama, ito. And subsequently at cost. However, they have the option to apply PAS number 16, that is the revaluation model. Okay? Next. 5. Initial direct costs incurred by the lessee are expensed immediately. Initial direct cost expensed by the lessee is expensed immediately. This is in relation to PFRS number 16, so capitalizable po ang initial direct cost. False po ang number 1. Number 2, initial direct costs are included to both the carrying amount of the liability and the asset. False. Bakit? Hindi kasama ang initial direct cost for the lease liability. However, it is capitalized for the leased asset. 3. The right of use asset is generally reported within the non-current asset section as a separate line item. Yes, it is a separate line item. Okay? The lessee's liability for a finance lease would be periodically reduced by the lease payment less a portion allocated in the interest. 7. The lessor should report the leased asset under an operating lease and income therefrom as which of the following. Okay? The asset should be kept. Sino to? Lessor, no? The asset should be reported in the statement of financial position according to its nature, and the lease income should go to net income. This bonus under operating lease po is recognized as a portion of the profit or loss using, hindi complex formula. Yan, tama. This is considered as unearned rent by the lessor. Which of the following would require lease capitalization? There is a certain purchase option. The present value of lease payment is significantly more than the fair value of the asset. Okay. Kapag po meron po tayong present value higher than the fair market value, lease capitalization is required. Net investment of the lease is equal to the present value of the lease payment plus any unguaranteed residual value. Okay? Plus yan. Where there is a lease of land and building and the title of the land is not transferred, generally the lease is treated as, so ang land po is treated as parehong finance. Okay? Hindi mo naman kailangan talaga ng actual transfer of ownership, but substantial transfer of ownership can be sufficed to record a finance. 12. Initial direct cost incurred by a lessor in a sales type lease shall be. So ang initial direct cost po shall be charged to. So charge ang sagot natin, no? To cost of sales in the first period of the lease term. Hindi po dinidiffer ang initial direct cost, right? Which of the following statement characterizes a sales type lease? Okay, dealer's profit po ang sagot natin. The lessor recognizes dealer's profit at inception and interest revenue over the lease term. And finally, in a sales and leaseback transaction, which of the following statement is incorrect? If the transfer qualifies as a sale under PFRS 15, the seller lessee shall measure the right of use asset arising from the leaseback at a portion, tama, of the previous carrying amount of the asset that relates to the right of use retained by the seller and recognize only the amount of any gain or loss relating to the rights transfer. Tama. Part 2. If the transfer does not qualify as a sale, the parties shall account for it as a financial transaction. Tama. Both statements are true. Oh wait, incorrect, no? Okay, may question pa ba tayo before we end the session? Buhay pa ba tayo? Hindi na, no? Okay. Again, you can contact me, no? Karamihan naman sa inyo students ko. No? You can contact me anytime if you have any more questions regarding this. And with that, thank you so much for attending class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po. Thank you po.